In this video, I want to discuss the benefits of rolling over your thrift savings plan into an IRA account and how to make sure that you could customize that specific to what you're trying to accomplish throughout your retirement years. So in some situations, an individual might have been working for the federal government. They've accumulated their thrift savings plan monies, and then they separated service and they basically are working for now a new employer where they have that old TSP account that's basically sitting on the sidelines. So how can they roll that money over into an IRA and then all the way up into the person that's working for essentially their lifetime for the federal government? They have accumulated their savings plan monies. They still want to work past the age of 59 and a half, but they want to leverage their thrift savings plan to therefore roll it over into an IRA, or portions over into an IRA. Or lastly, the individual that has basically stopped working altogether. So whether that means that they severed employment in their 50s, they retired in their 60s, and now they're either CSRS, FERS retirement, federal employees, and so they're able to receive their pension, potentially able to receive some Social Security income or Social Security supplement, and then have this thrift savings plan sitting there, how to make sure to roll that over properly into an IRA. So, all these different components or all these different qualifications allow somebody to do the rollover. But the most important question is, well, why would anybody actually do the rollover in the first place? So I'm hoping that, as you guys are reviewing this, you can take down notes at any time. That you have specific questions regarding this or any of the other videos, feel free to give our 1-800 number a call. It's 1-800-566-1002. Reference the video. I'll be sure to have a specialist, give you a call back, do a Zoom call, whatever your preference is. So the number one reason why individuals roll their TSP monies over into an IRA is for customization. If you think of the thrift savings plan like a bucket, and you think of an IRA like a bucket, the way on how the TSP bucket grows is by the contribution somebody makes into the plan and the rate of return that comes back. An IRA is determined, the size of the IRA is determined by the contribution somebody makes into the plan or the rollover that's being placed into the plan, and then the rate of return that comes back. So if somebody's trying to grow their accounts, well, what's the benefits of the thrift savings plan? The benefits of the thrift savings plan is that somebody's still working, they're making contributions, the employer is going to be adding contributions, and then they're going to be choosing different investment strategies based on the limited funds to choose. So think of those funds as eggs in your basket. There's about 10 to 20 different funds, different investment choices. So if, let's say, you choose the wrong allocation and the market goes down and it's tied to the stock market, well, then it's equivalent to someone taking a sword and slicing this bucket. You have a smaller bucket. If, let's say, you have your monies tied to the market and the market goes up, well, then obviously it's going to be equivalent to somebody pouring a gain into your bucket, so your bucket's growing fatter and fatter. So the combination of contributions and rate of return equals the size of the bucket. Well, that sounds fine, but why would somebody actually go and make those changes? And it's all based on what the time horizon is. It's all based on what they're trying to do with those monies, what those monies are geared for. So, as an example, when somebody goes and they take their thrift savings plan because they've hit a qualification, whether that means that they no longer work for the federal, they're no longer a federal employee, so they could take their old thrift savings plan monies and roll that over, or maybe they've hit that specific in-service age-based qualification saying that they're at least age 59 and a half, so they could still be working for the federal government, but then taking a portion of all their TSP and roll that over into an IRA, or they just hit their retirement, so like I mentioned previously. So all those different things are qualifications. The main reason why somebody does that rollover is because instead of it being limited to these 10 to 20 different eggs in your basket, 10 to 20 different investment options, which just purely investment, or if you're looking at from a fixed side, it's only going to really be the G fund. When you place it into an IRA, now you have over 5,000 different customizations available. So you could go and set that up into, if you're just trying to grow the accounts, you could go into things that have high quality, low cost, things that could really, push that pedal to the metal and grow your accounts as much as possible based on what your risk tolerance is. Another aspect would be income. If, let's say, we're speaking to somebody that is age 60, so they've hit that age-based qualification, they have this thrift savings plan sitting there, and let's say this person has $500,000 sitting in this account, and they want to retire at age 65, but they're only age 60. If they have pension income of X amount of dollars, they have Social Security income or Social Security supplement that would come to them at age 65 of X amount of dollars. If, let's say, between the combination of those are their only two cash flow or their income sources, they're at retirement, if this is greater than or equal to their expenses, well, then they're fine. They don't really need to set up an income-related strategy. But let's say if it's less than what their expenses are, what their monthly expenses will be at age 65 and beyond, well, then they need to create some sort of strategy. So maybe out of this, after computing all the different analysis and figuring out what this person's expenses are from now until retirement, from retirement until ultimately date of death, we understand that this person might have a gap of $10,000 starting at age 65. Well, they're only 60 right now, so we have to figure out from age 60 to age 65 how to make sure to generate out of this $500,000, how to make sure to generate the $10,000 needed. So by doing so, we don't just say, okay, just leave it in a cash position and, hope that that you're not going to outlive your monies, and just keep, not actually having any sort of growth on these dollars. How can we use the smallest amount of dollars only as much as necessary to produce some sort of lifetime income stream that will help supplement the Social Security, help supplement what the pension income stream is? So maybe in this example, it's only going to cost this person $100,000 from their $500,000 their savings plan that we rolled over when they were 60. So now that's festering at age 65. It's going to trigger an income stream from that customized IRA that would be set up for income. Now, if you have $400,000 remaining, you could go and have fun with these monies. You can figure out what your risk tolerance is. So maybe out of this $400,000, somebody wants to be super risky with these monies and try to grow it, understanding that's going to ebb and flow, but really try to accentuate these gains because maybe they have, some sort of a vacation-related goal in mind or some sort of legacy goal where they just say, I want to leave this, to my beneficiaries and make sure that this account is as fat as possible, while the other $200,000 is growing on a safe, consistent basis. Maybe out of that remaining $200,000, they're putting $100,000 in a fixed account, another $100,000 in a fixed index-related account. So now what they did is, essentially in this sort of example, took a $500,000 TSP account that was only tied to those 10 to 20 different eggs in their basket, only 10 to 20 different investment options, and now it's customized it into different things. So you basically created, 3, 4, 5 different IRA accounts that are now serving its specific purpose. The $100,000 IRA was set up to maximize the income starting at age 65. The $200,000 IRA was set up for investment realm. The other $100,000 was set up for the maximized fixed rates, and the remaining $100,000 was set up for more of a safe accumulation related strategy. So now they're all working, together. On top of it, this individual didn't stop working for the federal government. So their savings plan, when they did the rollover into the IRAs, their savings plan account balance just went to $0. But now their IRAs increased value from $0 to $500,000. It's not like you're losing money. You just rolled it over. You just placed it into another area that's staying within that qualified retirement plan chassis. So with that being said, now this person has 5 more years that they could add contributions, get matching monies, and still be leveraging their thrift savings plan until they're 65. So that at age 65, maybe they accumulate another 100,000, or maybe at age 60, they, instead of leveraging a traditional thrift savings plan, they leverage a Roth thrift savings plan. So that'll be more tax effective for them when they do hit that age 65 years. So they don't have to worry about RMDs at 72 or whatever, age RMD, the government places the RMD age at the time that you're reviewing this video. But by doing these little tweaks, it sounds like a couple of moving parts, but by just doing these very simple tweaks, it could put somebody into a much better mathematical position and take away that stress, take away all that worry that, they just have a portfolio. This is what ultimately happens is individuals that are set up in their savings plan, they just have a portfolio, just saying, okay, put my money aside. I hope it's going to grow. And, I don't really know what to do with it when I hit retirement, but I'll just figure it out at that point. That's not a plan. That's a portfolio. What we try to do is help individuals segment into optimized plans so that they know exactly, okay, this is what this dollar's doing. It's set up for an income need. It's set up for a growth need, set up for a safe accumulation need, whatever that case is. And that's where, it just allows you to have a lot less stress throughout retirement and know that you at least have the correct trajectory and you're maximizing everything that you want to do with your ideal retirement situation. Roth conversions is something that's pretty unique, has become more and more popular in recent days. Essentially what happens is when somebody either hits an in-service age-based qualification, maybe they're working for a different employer, whatever the reason is, but they have a qualification that allows them to take their savings plan money and roll it over into an IRA. They might do this and then take the IRA monies and do Roth conversions into those IRA accounts. So like as an example, if let's say somebody has $500,000 that's sitting in their savings plan, they rolled over to an IRA, and this person has the next 5 years for retirement, but they don't want to do a full Roth conversion all at once, because when they do that Roth conversion, it's going to increase their taxable income for that year. They might want to splice this down and say, okay, maybe out of this $500,000, what I want to do is convert $50,000 of IRA to Roth IRA for the next 10 years, so that, yes, every time I'm doing the conversion, it's going to increase my taxable income, but it's only going to increase it by $50,000 increments. So that's more sustainable than taking one big shot of being jolted into the next tax bracket, having to pay taxes all in that one, tax year. So there's different ways on how you can do Roth conversions. The beauty of Roth conversions is when the monies are growing in a Roth account, the monies grow tax-free, and then you can pull your monies out tax-free. Also, there's no required minimum distributions like you have with traditional retirements, traditional IRAs, traditional 401ks, traditional thrift savings plans, all of those that are pre-tax qualified retirement accounts. So I hope that all these reasons why make sense. And, they might pertain to your situation, they might not. Some individuals are fine with just saying, okay, I have my money, I just, I leave it in my thrift savings plan because it's very easy. There's only a couple options. I just want to choose these few options. I don't really care if mathematically it could be hurting me, but I just know that it's convenient. So, and that's completely fine. But for the individual that really wants to segment and really wants to maximize their power and make sure to take that stress away, especially throughout their retirement years where things can get super stressful if they're trying to invest their monies on their own, that's where by setting up a plan is obviously much more effective than just keeping in a portfolio. But there are common mistakes. There's a lot of common mistakes that are made that, and I don't know if it's just the advisors explaining it the wrong way or individuals reading the publications the wrong way, but the first one is basically needing income before 59 and a half and doing a TSP rollover before they are that age. So what do I mean by that? Let's say if somebody is age 56, as an example, and they stop working for the federal government, and they said, okay, I've given X amount of years of service, I'm going to be receiving my pension income, I'm going to be receiving a supplement, Social Security income supplement for these next X amount of years, and I have this thrift savings plan that's sitting here for $500,000. I'm just going to keep using that $500,000 example. Maybe they have a gap, just like my other example, where they have a gap of $10,000 per year that they need from their thrift savings plan, that they need from an excess account. If their only asset is a thrift savings plan, it would make more sense to leave a portion of dollars in the thrift savings plan while only rolling over a portion of dollars into the IRA. Why do I say that? An IRA has something known as 59 and a half rules. So what this means is if you try to pull monies out of an IRA account before you're at the age of 59 and a half, you get dinged with a 10% penalty, and you would also get fully taxed on whatever those monies are that you pull. The fully taxed portion, that's going to be the same with their savings plan as it is with an IRA. That doesn't really matter. But this 10% penalty is not necessary if you make your measurements or if you do the rollover the correct way. So like as an example, we understand this person is not quite 59 and a half yet. He's only age 56. They need $10,000 of income, and that's beyond the pension income and the Social Security supplement. They have $500,000 sitting in their savings plan. So with this, maybe, from 56 to 57, 57 to 58, 58 to 59, 59 to 60, those are 4 years. So 4 times 10,000 is 40,000. Maybe you just make it about an even 50,000 that you leave into that thrift savings plan and just set it into a very basic, G fund as an example that is not going to lose value. It's not really going to gain value, but it's not going to really lose anything. So this will be used as a laddering strategy from age 56 to age 60. Those other portion of dollars, the remaining out of if you took 50,000, you left that in the thrift savings plan, you got 450,000 remaining. You go put 450,000 into an IRA account and splice them into customized IRA accounts to make sure that you're accomplishing the income need and accomplishing any of the other retirement goal need of growth, of investments, of safe accumulation, fixed accounts, whatever that is, legacy planning, Roth conversions, however that works. So maybe at this person's age 56, if they go and they place 100,000 into an IRA that's set up for an income stream that will get triggered from age 60 through lifetime, from age 60 until essentially date of death, the first ladder occurred from ages 56 to 60. That's what we left in the thrift savings plan. We left that on the sidelines because the thrift savings plan does not have the 59 and a half rule. So this allows this person to take withdrawals and not get dinged by the 10% penalty. Because we did the rollover at age 56, it allowed 4 years to fester 100,000, and that's what produced the extra $10,000 of income in the hypothetical example, and that's going to produce lifetime income. So now instead of it being $450,000, you now have $350,000 remaining in other IRAs because $100,000 went over to IRA number 1 to create that income stream from age 60 until date of death. Maybe out of this $350,000, this person wants to be super aggressive with $200,000 and set that up into different investments. Now it leaves $150,000 for different Roth conversion, related needs, or just a safe accumulation need, a fixed related need, whatever that case might be, more of like a splurge account, a vacation related account. Each person has their own preference on how to do this effectively. But once again, the common mistake would be saying, I'll take this full $500,000, roll that over into an IRA, and then, try to create a strategy from there, or just try to grow your IRA account as much as possible. But what you did was you shot yourself in the foot, because now if you try to access your monies from that IRA before 59 and a half, you're going to have to pay a 10% penalty and taxes each year, before that age 60 takes place, or before the age 59 takes place. So by just making sure that you're segmenting it properly, you're still leveraging the thrift savings plan based on what your age is and based upon what the goal is. Once again, that's a plan. It's not just throwing it at something and hoping that the portfolio is going to do, this jack of all trades type scenario. You need to make sure that everything is customized, everything is optimized for what you're trying to accomplish. So I hope that thoroughly explains the common mistake number 1, needing income before 59 and a half. So do not do the rollover to the IRA, or only put the necessary portion into the IRA, that is going to be leveraged from age 60 and beyond, or age 59 and a half and beyond. And keep the other monies on the sidelines, keep it back with the thrift savings plan so you're able to kind of undercut it and leverage that laddering strategy. The other thing is taking a lump sum withdrawal versus rollover. Let's say, once again, somebody has $500,000, they stop working for the federal government, and say, all right, give me my money. And they take this full amount and they throw it into their checking account. That is a large, large mistake, because they would be fully taxable. They would be fully taxed on those dollars. And then also there's a withholding provision by placing those monies, by giving you those dollars. So you're not even going to be able to net the full amount on there. And ultimately you're just putting yourself in a very sticky tax situation, because all the monies that you would be placing into your checking account, which is a non-qualified account, from your thrift savings plan, would all get taxed all within that 1 year that you did it. So you want to be careful there. Using a growth strategy to accomplish an income need. So this is where individuals make common mistakes, and it's not really their fault. It's just basically what they know. So when somebody is trying to accumulate their dollars, or they've been working and they're constantly throughout their working years, they're focused on making money. They're focused at their job at hand, with their employer, with the federal government in this example. They don't try to, learn about investments. They don't try to learn about the stock market and all these different things, especially if there's only limited funds. If there's only about 10 to 20 different options in the thrift savings plan on average, that's not really going to give them a lot of juice that they could squeeze out of it. So they're not trying to be day traders or anything like that. What happens is somebody, as they're working, they're in something known as the wealth accumulation stage, meaning they're trying to place their monies aside into their retirement account, and trying to grow that account as much as possible so they can take on risks, because if the market's going to be ebbing and flowing, if the market goes down but the person's still working, they might have a 10, 15, 20-year time horizon before they're actually going to touch those dollars. So they could allow the market to kind of ebb and flow and crash and gain and all of that without any problems. Well, when somebody starts getting closer to retirement, this is where the strategy should change from a wealth accumulation, trying to just grow, to something known as a wealth preservation and distribution, meaning they're trying to preserve their monies, preserve their assets, and create a proper distribution strategy that will correlate to their age and correlate to what their goals are, meaning take on less risk and make sure that you're preserving your accounts better than just, going gung-ho into the market. So, that's where, obviously a plan is very important to at least have things segmented, as opposed to just throwing a bunch of crap. Basically what I notice is individuals go in both extremes. When the markets are doing well, they want to be the most aggressive people in the world. When the markets are doing poorly, they want to sit on the sidelines with cash, or just sit in a fixed account. It could be a garbage fixed account. So that's where by making sure that you're understanding how to create the proper diversification or the proper diversified portfolio, maybe you have a little bit of risk, but then you also have a little bit of consistency in there. That will give you a better trajectory to accomplish your needs. So I hope that makes sense. So you just don't want to mix and match what your goals are. You don't want to use a growth strategy for an income need. You want to use an income strategy for an income need. You don't want to use an income strategy for a growth need. And that's a common mistake as well. Somebody might be too conservative. And like as an example, there's really helpful tools on an IRA side. They're known as fixed index annuities with income riders, which it basically creates conceptually like a personal pension plan. But when used the wrong way, it's a horrible product. If let's say somebody, and let me just clear off the screen real quick. And as an example, let's say somebody had that $500,000 in the account. I'm just going to use that example continuously throughout this video. But they have pension income streams of $60,000. They have Social Security supplement of, let's say, another $20,000. Then after doing their budgeting analysis, we understand that their expenses are $50,000 throughout the course of the year and throughout retirement. And it's only going to increase slightly with the pace of inflation. This person's receiving $80,000 of some sort of lifetime cash flow already. That's significantly higher. It's significantly greater than what their expenses are. Why would somebody take a portion of this $500,000 and place it into an income-related strategy if they don't need more income? So that's where, it just makes sense to get more structured and say, okay, well, maybe a growth would be more effective, or maybe a safe growth would be more effective, or maybe some sort of legacy play that you're trying to leverage dollars and purchase things that will give more of an optimized death benefit to loved ones, at that point. And maybe you want to do that Roth conversion strategy because all these monies are pre-tax, qualified monies, and you want to just be more effective as you guys are working, or to do those conversions, because it gives you more flexibility, tax-free growth, and tax-free income throughout your retirement. So, once again, there's a multitude of things. Do not use a safe strategy if you want to be aggressive. Do not use an aggressive strategy if you want to be safe. It sounds pretty self-explanatory, but you'd be surprised at how many individuals are terrified, and they don't really know, and it's not their fault, they don't really know what to do. That's where we try to help individuals figure out what that situation is and create the proper trajectory, create the proper plan for them. This video just kind of talks about a sliver of what we do. We have a trademark process that's known as the retirement diet plan, where we look at your situation and we make sure that you have a proper distribution strategy, proper investment strategy, estate planning strategy, proper tax planning strategy based on, what you're trying to accomplish, and making sure that we're not leaving any stone, unturned. In the context of the current market environment, be mindful of, what used to happen in the past. An individual would be working for their employer, they'd be receiving pension income, receive Social Security income, and then they would have their dollars of thrift savings plan that they could go and roll it over into a safe account, a bank CD, a fixed annuity that's paying 10-12%. Unfortunately, interest rates have gone to all-time lows. So now you can't get that same 5-year bank CD that's paying 10-12%. That same bank CD will now only be paying 1% if you're lucky. Same fixed annuity will only be paying 2-3% if you're lucky. So that's where individuals had to change their strategy. When individuals started going into the market was doing well, but it depends on when they retired. 2001, you had the tech bubble bursting. You obviously had the housing crisis after that. You had the Great Recession after that. You had the coronavirus pandemic. So you have just constant volatility that could obviously hurt accounts. And if somebody's trying to create an income strategy, that could obviously be a detriment to it. Or they're trying to create a safety strategy, that could be a detriment to it. But if they're leveraging growth, then that might be fine. So basically, from a current market environment, it's more important to have a plan, not just throw a bunch of crap at the wall and hope that everything's going to work out. And that's ultimately what we try to educate here with these videos. In closing, I hope you enjoyed this. Feel free to write down any notes, write down any questions, and give our 1-800 number a call. It's 1-800-566-1002. You can also visit our website, afasifinancial.com or retiresharp.com. I'll bring you to the same place. And if you want to have access to the most updated videos, feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is Retire Sharp. And, be sure to try to put out content, a couple of pieces of videos, every week to further education. But thank you so much, guys.